Shall we? Let's get to it. Okay, welcome into Rob Schmitt Tonight. I'm Bob Brooks. Rob has the night off. So after what happened to our two National Guardsmen, I think the conversation of illegal immigration has now been thrust back into front and center. Don't you? I think it's rightfully so. It was Democrat immigration policy that led to the murder of National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom, and it's why Andrew Wolf is now in critical condition fighting for his life. You all know by now the shooter. He was an Afghani national that was able to come into the country after Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan, and throughout the week we've already established there were serious concerns about how the Biden administration was vetting these people. President Trump, years ago, was sounding the alarm.
They didn't need anything. There was no vetting. Just come on in.
We have bad borders, and they don't do anything about them. But they're not only bad, they're open, and they do no vetting. Our country was invaded for the last 4 years, and they've allowed people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. Criminals walk in, no vetting, no checking, no nothing.
Turns out he was right, as he was on so many things. The vice president, he was also challenged by CBS News' Margaret Brennan about it.
There are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted.
Good.
These people are vetted.
Ugh, so smug about it and defiant that she knows for sure these people are okay to be here. How's she so sure, though? Because a Democrat told you and you listen to whatever they say? It's probably it. Look, I crunched the numbers yesterday when I talked about it. When you throw in 20 million illegals that come through the border, along with 190,000 Afghan nationals that were allowed in, talking about almost 14,000 people a day were coming into our country. So let's cut the crap. Everyone knows there's millions of people in this country, and for the most part, no one has any idea who they are or what their intentions are. I guess all you really can do is wait and see what they do once they're here. And my God, did we just get a taste of that 2 days ago in D.C. when 29-year-old Ramanullah Lockenwall drove across the country from the state of Washington and then went berserk. But this is a bigger conversation tonight about illegal immigration and crime and the burden on our first world society. I'm going to point out these names. I know you know them. Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungare, who was just 12 years old, all killed at the hands of an illegal. But there are many more victims. The Department of Homeland Security has a whole website dedicated to victims of illegal migrant crime, of those who have been killed somehow or nearly killed or raped. This is also a conversation about assimilation into our country. I think that's the biggest one tonight. Adopting our values and loving the United States of America, which doesn't appear to be happening, just my observation. Again, a perfect example of this, not respecting our law enforcement, which, as a reminder, has been highly encouraged by Democrats.
Donald Trump's mass deportation system makes me think of what a modern-day slave patrol would look like.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets.
Well, they should understand that he has other aims other than fighting crime. That's the first thing they should understand. The second is it's an attack on the American people.
Well, that was on full display when uniformed National Guard soldiers were ambushed in D.C. I'll also bring up Dearborn, Michigan. I feel like this is the big case study in our country. Now, let me ask you, what you see on your screen, does that look like assimilation? I don't think it does. I think it looks like they're marching down the streets. They're taking things over. There's also a new video circulating around on social media of a young man in Dearborn. He was calling for revolution. Okay, that's certainly not assimilation. In Minnesota, it's being reported that state welfare programs are being defrauded. And in the end, according to the former acting U.S. attorney there, he said this: when current investigations are prosecuted and finished, The scope of fraud in Minnesota government programs could exceed $1 billion. They lost $1 billion, and you know who was doing it? Well, okay, I'll show you. Minnesota welfare fraud. Some funds went to Al-Shabaab. In many cases, the fraud has allegedly been perpetrated by members of Minnesota's sizable Somali community. Federal counterterrorism sources confirm that millions of dollars in stolen funds have been sent back to Somalia, where they ultimately landed in the hands of the terror group Al-Shabaab, as one confidential source put it. The largest funder of Al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. Our money is being sent to Al-Shabaab, the terror group. Now, that to me doesn't look like assimilation. President Trump, he talked about that last night as well.
Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people. And we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble.
And despite everything that has happened as a result of the Democrats' immigration policies, they continue to blame President Trump for everything, deflect and blame Trump. Look at how USA Today, it framed this attack on our National Guardsmen. Trump sent National Guard to D.C. to fight crime. Then 2 were shot. So Trump is at fault for this radicalized Afghan national ambushing troops in D.C. and the left fully backs that narrative.
The FBI has pulled, and all of the defense security establishment has pulled all of their focus on anti-terrorism and put it on the deportation.
The president looks everywhere except inward to blame his own policies. It's never the president's fault or his policies when it comes to his reaction, and it's pretty disgusting.
Look, import the third world and you will become it, and we are. Look, I'm all for immigration, legal immigration. You know, we used to have standards when it came to who gets to come in and participate in our wonderful first world society. Because 20 million people coming through your border in 4 years isn't normal behavior. That's not sustainable. And now we're all having to deal with the consequences. Anyways, what I want to do tonight, I want to end the monologue with President Trump's late night post on Truth Social yesterday. He basically wrote what we're all thinking. It's lengthy, but also very well worded. And I want to go through it right now. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains in living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States, right? Assimilation, or is incapable of loving our country, and all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. That's important. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. Thank you, President Trump, for writing that, and again, saying the quiet part out loud that so many people were scared to do. Gene Hamilton, he's the president of America First Legal. Chad Wolf, former acting secretary of Homeland Security. They both join us now. Chad, want to start with you. Talk about the leftist media reaction immediately jumping to the defense of immigrants, one of them being the Wall Street Journal writing, the ambush on the National Guard, the alleged shooting by an Afghan partner shouldn't condemn all who assisted the U.S. and now live here. The New York Times, they wrote, Trump uses National Guard shooting to cast suspicion on refugees. What are we supposed to do? Huh? What do you think here, Gene? Turn a blind eye?
Yeah, look, we're not supposed to turn a blind eye to this. What you pointed out, what the president has pointed out, is that we are talking about a large systemic existential problem for this country, which is about the issue of assimilation. And we're looking at the tail end of decades of failed policy of assuming that you could adequately screen and vet people coming from active war zones, coming from Afghanistan. And the simple fact is that you can't. You just simply can't vet and adequately screen the people that we're talking about coming into this country who are not going to assimilate, who are not going to adapt to Western values. There's no database that you can check if the database doesn't exist. And further, you can't even screen to determine if this person actually loves America. That should be the ultimate question. Do you love America? Are you going to make this country a better place?
I love that the president wrote, any disruptors, you got to go. Imagine that. You put yourself in their shoes, go to another country, Chad, start causing problems. You're there illegally, and then you think you have the right to stay here. It's so arrogant. Then on top of that, like up in Minnesota, to steal our money and send it to terror groups. I fully support what President Trump wrote.
Well, look, I think half of America or more also supports the president. And I think we have this is a point in time in U.S. history where we have to make some very difficult and hard decisions. Otherwise, we could end up looking like France or UK or Sweden over the last 10 years, where they have allowed unchecked immigration into their country from places and from people that don't share their values. And now they are there's consequences for that, uncontrolled crime in those countries and the like. So I think President Trump, as much as the left will try to paint him in a certain box, in a certain light, he is doing what the majority of Americans want, which is protecting everyday Americans, protecting Western civilization, protecting our culture. And I think more and more Americans agree with that.
That's just it. Protect and preserve our American way of life, which has rapidly changed, especially over the last 4 years. I want to get to this. Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia of Texas, she's commenting on this tonight.
We've seen, especially over these last few months, the dehumanization of immigrants, what's happened, whether it's been with ICE or DHS, the mass agents taking people away, the detention centers that no one can visit. He views immigration in such a negative light that is quite frankly anti-American. Americans and this country know and understand that immigration has been a net positive and continues to be.
Excuse me, that was Robert Garcia, Gene. But I think we should have standards, right? All we are asking for, and I think I can speak for just about all of us here, is legal immigration with standards, right?
Look, I think that our national policymakers, our members of Congress, the people in the executive branch need to look at immigration the way that they would look at inviting someone to come into their house. Ultimately, that's what the situation is. Is this person going to make my household better? Am I going to be safe and secure with this person in my household? Or alternatively, are they going to pose a threat to my family? Are they going to deteriorate the condition of my house? And so we have had decades of people making the wrong decisions for the wrong reasons, and instead just being very, very simply focused on, is this person's presence in the United States going to make this a better country?
Yeah, well said here. And I also want to talk about this, the shooter here. We know he came into the U.S. in 2021 after the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. It was under the Operation Allies Welcome, right? So they got roughly $75,000 in that. Another program brought even more. But according to a 2022 Inspector General report as part of Operation Allies Welcome, the CBP did not always have critical data to properly screen, vet, or inspect the evacuees. We also determined the CBP admitted or paroled evacuees who were not fully vetted into the United States here. So, Chad, your biggest worry is what? I think I can speak for many Americans. They're worried about what went down in D.C. on Wednesday is going to happen again, and it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the concern. And when you bring in over 100,000 folks under Operation Welcome Allies that weren't vetted, weren't properly vetted, doesn't matter if they tried to do some initial checks, and they did, they brought all those folks in, if you recall, in a matter of days and weeks. That process is much, much longer to do that correctly, not to mention the number of millions of folks coming across that border. And the Biden team just handed out humanitarian parole like candy. And now we're having to deal with the consequences. First, President Trump had to seal the border, had to fix what Biden broke. And now, unfortunately, he's going to have to re-vet and re-look at all of these individuals that were given humanitarian parole by the Biden administration. Again, President Trump and his team are having to pick up the pieces broken by the Biden team.
Absolutely. Gene, here, everything President Trump talked about in that Truth Social post legally, I would suppose that there's going to be some pushback. Judges might get involved, things like that. Can you talk about what that road looks like over the next coming months?
Look, what President Trump is calling for is precisely what the INA articulates and provides him with the power to do by law. I was there all the first 4 years of the Trump 1.0, and I was there earlier in this term. I know, and the team there knows, that they are going to get challenged. They are going to get sued. But at the end of the day, the law is on their side. The Constitution is on their side. These laws provide for immigration to be conducted in the national interest, for people to be removed when they commit certain offenses, when they meet certain criteria. And ultimately, the ability to cut off immigration any time that the president determines it's contrary to the national interest is well within his power, as recognized by the Supreme Court just a few years ago in the infamous Trump versus Hawaii decision. So I think that ultimately the president's going to prevail because the policy, the law is right on his side. The American people are there with him. But there's going to be some hiccups, and we will see how it all plays out.
Has been the whole way, though I know he's done really well in court, especially when it gets up to the highest level, the Supreme Court there, which I'm sure likely a lot of this will. Chad Wolf, Gene Hamilton, got to leave it there. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Okay, so we got some breaking news happening right now in Webster Springs, West Virginia. Mourners are holding a vigil right now to honor National Guardsman Sarah Beckstrom, who was killed in D.C. in that ambush attack on Wednesday. Our thoughts, our prayers, especially with her and her family, and Andrew Wolf, who is still fighting in the hospital.
Tonight, bring us peace and joy and love.
Okay, we're going to keep moving here. Going to go to break. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Alan B. West, who served in Afghanistan. He discusses the suspected National Guard shooter's CIA connection and what that's all about. That's next.
From the moment Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, Newsmax was there.
We have some major breaking news. Israel launches strikes, preemptive strikes, almost 4 in the morning.
Israel has decided enough's enough.
What happened tonight was inevitable.
Something just caught my attention it sounds like afterburners overhead.
Multiple explosions across the capital, Tehran.
I'm in a shelter now. There's 6 of us.
Benjamin Netanyahu has come out to make a statement.
Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Whenever the biggest news breaks, Newsmax is there for you because we're real news for real people.
Invest in Ukraine now. Ukraine is rebuilding, innovating, and shaping the future. Because Ukraine is the potential. Kyivstar is Ukraine's leading digital operator. Invests in Ukraine's connectivity, entertainment, ride-hailing, healthcare, and innovation. It's time to think opportunity. It's time to think Ukraine now.
Guys, it's time to get what you want. With help from Ageless Male Max, a doctor-recommended solution for boosting testosterone right at its source. Be the man you want to be.
Meet Andrew from the Zebra. Andrew lives and breathes insurance. Andrew stays up all night watching the Zebra find people's savings. You might think nobody could love insurance as much as Andrew, but at the Zebra, everybody's really into savings. The Zebra monitors your insurance and informs you of savings the moment we find it. So you never have to second-guess your policy or your price. Nobody does insurance like the Zebra. Find out how much you can save today.
Okay, welcome back in. I'm Bob Brooks, filling in for Rob this Friday evening. So more on the shooter here. CIA Director John Ratcliffe confirming that he was working with the CIA, as we have mentioned before, as a member of the partner strike force in Kandahar. He reportedly began doing this dirty work for the CIA back in 2021, meaning he would have only been 15 years old at the time. The New York Times says they spoke to this guy's childhood friend from back home. He told them that the suspected shooter could not tolerate the violence of his CIA-backed unit in Afghanistan. And somehow he came up clean on his background checks and was flown into the country back in 2021 during the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. Now, his asylum claim was put in under Biden, ultimately accepted in April of this year. President Trump, he was asked about the suspected killer's connection to the CIA and why he blames Joe Biden for this tragedy. And here's how he responded.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people.
Why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let him in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
I think it makes sense. Joe Biden gets the blame for this. Came in under Biden. Alan West is a retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and the executive director at the American Constitutional Rights Union. He joins us now. Colonel, it's an honor to have you on. So we all know you served in Afghanistan. The shooter, you worked with the CIA, I guess, for the better part of a decade. Obviously, he's well known to the intelligence community. Talk about this guy and just anything, any signals you're getting on him.
Well, first of all, in full disclosure, 2 of my interpreter translators, I worked hard to get them to the United States of America, made sure they were vetted and wrote letters on their behalf. They're thriving here with their families. Also, a young lieutenant that I mentored while I was there in Afghanistan. He rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel. He's now living down in the San Antonio area. So this is something that I have a little bit of knowledge and I don't know if you want to call it expertise on. But just because someone worked with our CIA or any of our other military affiliations, it does not mean that that is someone that is friendly to the United States of America. One of the things we saw were commonplace in Afghanistan, what we call green on blue shootings, where we would have members of the Afghan military turn their weapons on United States troops. So just because someone worked with the military does not mean he possesses the principles and values and beliefs of what this country holds and possesses. And so I think that, once again, we have to make sure that we are questioning people about their true intentions, their beliefs, and not just allowing people to mass migrate into the United States of America and not conduct follow-up checks. This is not the first time we've had an Afghan national do something of this nature. Remember last year we had an Afghan national who was arrested on planning a terrorist attack during our elections. And previous to that, we have an Afghan national, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, that opened fire on 3 police officers in Virginia.
So you're saying maybe we should have continued vetting, check up on these people a little bit more regular. How would you go about doing that? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, I think that you should have a record of these individuals, and the ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, should do some type of call-ins, and they should come in and once again interview these individuals and see where they are, what they are doing, some of their associations, because lots of times we have to be concerned about what type of Islamic center or mosque these people may be attending here, what type of imams are there, and so we have to ensure that they're not being radicalized, as it may be the case in this shooter's purpose and task.
Certainly does seem that way. Also want to get to this. President Trump, we know he's announced that he's going to permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. He's also going to halt all asylum cases. The president also added the official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institution gangs, or drug cartels. He also goes on to write, they and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. So I feel like we're subsidizing so many of these people to be here. And I was making the point in the beginning of the show, Colonel, that the assimilation doesn't seem to be there, at least for a large group of them. And I use Dearborn, Michigan being the example.
Yeah, Dearborn, Michigan, where you had people that were shouting out death to America, and you have a mayor there in Dearborn, Michigan, that told a Christian minister that he was not welcome in his city because that minister was at a city council meeting complaining about the fact they wanted to name a street after a Hamas sympathizer. And even here in Texas, in North Texas, where I reside, we have the issue with a enclave that they're trying to create called Epic City, and now they're trying to rename it The Meadows under an HOA. And thank goodness we finally had Governor Greg Abbott step up and declare Muslim Brotherhood and CARE to be terrorist organizations. I think it's very important that we stop and get control of what has happened here in the United States of America and understand what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and that administration did was completely unconstitutional. It was a violation of Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution when they implemented an open borders policy. And we're dealing with these criminal illegal immigrants, and we're also dealing with a terrorist element being from the Mexican cartels or from Islamic jihadism.
Colonel, real quick, 20 seconds. How do we correct this? President Trump, he's talking about, shutting down immigration from third world countries, but also getting a lot of these people out. Is that going to be enough? What do you think?
I think that's a start. Every journey starts with a first step. And what we saw happen in the 4 years of the Biden administration, we're not going to be able to correct overnight. And I think shame on these Democrat elected officials that are standing in the way of law enforcement enforcing the law. It is a federal offense. First offense is a misdemeanor. Following that is a felony to unauthorized entry into the United States of America. End of statement, period.
Colonel West, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
All mine. Thank you, Bob. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. Okay, President Trump, he hints Venezuelan land strikes may be coming soon as dictator Nicolas Maduro considers fleeing the country. Reports are circulating that Maduro called Trump this week. Okay, maybe progress. We're going to talk about it next.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Actor, Oscar-winning director, and even a mayor, he redefined cool. From humble beginnings to Hollywood icon, he became the face of good guy toughness. Watch American Legend, the Clint Eastwood story.
What are phytonutrients? They are naturally occurring plant nutrients that give fruits, vegetables, spices, and fibers their vibrant colors, unique flavors, and distinct aromas. Balance of Nature supplements include 47 different ingredients of fruits, vegetables, spices, and fibers. It's an easy way to give your body more of a variety of phytonutrients that might be missing from your everyday diet. Get a free variety snack pack when you purchase your first set as a new preferred customer.
I'm sorry to bother you, but I have 30 seconds to give you a very important message. My name is Arthur Lee. I'm the CEO and inventor of LifeVac, a simple choking rescue device that could save a life in a choking emergency. We've saved over 3,000 lives now, but we're not there. 5,000 people a year choke to death, one child every 5 days. Please consider protecting your family in a choking emergency with LifeVac. Go to lifevac.net today. Thank you for your time.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
This country has never been so divided. Are you a licorice lover or hater? We at Licorice.com have 50-plus gourmet flavors that you'll flip out over. Get some for yourself or a licorice lover in your life. Licorice lovers unite at Licorice.com.
It's the Blue Compass RV annual Blue Tag clearance. Save over 40% on select new RVs during our largest sale of the year. Plus, every RV comes with a 1-year VIP membership to RV Complete, a $5,000 value. Visit us online or in store today.
Drop is finally here. Drop delivers the weight loss benefits of GLP-1 injections in easy-to-use oral drops, no needles.
That's right. The two big drawbacks with weight loss injections are high costs and weekly injections. Drop is flavorless and odorless, so you can just add it to water or your favorite beverage. Drop offers other advantages over injections too. With Drop, you can personalize your dosage based on your weight loss goals.
And because you add Drop to any liquid, there's no concern about injection site infections, bruising, or dosage confusion.
Drop is the easier, safer, cost-effective alternative to help you achieve your weight loss goals without the needles.
The Black Friday sale is on with the lowest price of the year. Order online at dropthepounds.com/Black Friday. That's dropthepounds.com/Black Friday.
And sold to Carvana.
Ooh. What's wrong, John?
I set aside a week to sell my car, Clarence. They pick it up tomorrow and they pay me on the spot. What am I supposed to do with all this time?
Visit a museum?
All week?
Learn Italian?
Ho venduto la mia macchina a Carvana. What are we gonna do?
Sell your car to Carvana today.
Okay, welcome back in. I'm Bob Brooks, filling in for Rob this evening while Americans were eating our turkey dinners for Thanksgiving. Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro, was reportedly also having turkey on his mind, except not the food, it's the country. Okay, the Washington Post reports this. Maduro is looking to Turkey as a possible safe harbor if he decides to flee Caracas. A source telling them a potential Turkish exile deal for Maduro could come with guarantees. Presumably, he would not be extradited to the United States, where he has a $50 million bounty on his head and is currently under indictment for drug trafficking, corruption, and narco-terrorism. This, as the New York Times reports, President Trump spoke by phone last week with Nicolas Maduro and discussed a possible meeting between them. Maduro would reportedly come into the United States for that meeting, but there are no plans at the moment for such a meeting. Okay, well, Maduro may want to decide soon what he's doing because President Trump's Operation Southern Spear at the Caribbean, it appears poised to strike more than just drug boats on the high seas. Trump confirming on Thanksgiving night at Mar-a-Lago that land strikes against Venezuela might be coming soon.
We'll be starting to stop them by land also. The land is easier, but that's going to start very soon. We warned them, stop sending poison to our country.
Here to weigh in, national security analyst, senior fellow at the Lexington Institute, Rebecca Grant. Dr. Grant, pleasure to have you on Friday night. Good to see you. So when you take this statement, I remember this from the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, that said they were going to treat the cartels like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. That means strikes, right? That meant inland distribution sites, wherever they're making these drugs. So what do you think is actually going to happen?
You're right. That lays the legal basis, and the Cartel of the Suns has been officially designated a terrorist organization as of November 24th. This is a cartel with deep roots into Venezuela's military and directly to Maduro himself, says the Treasury Department. What we know is that a few weeks ago, President Trump was briefed by General Dan Kane, our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, on a range of possible strike options. Don't know what those are, but it certainly could include something like hitting some of the land-based drug facilities. Why? Terrorist organization. It's not that different from hitting Houthi targets in Yemen. They've laid the basis. They've got the aircraft carrier. They have the strike options in place. It's putting pressure on Maduro.
Is it pressure to submission for Maduro? Is that really President Trump's goal?
Well, that would be nice. I mean, if Maduro was out of there, that would be great because he stole the election. Venezuela's economy's a mess. They're too close to Russia, too close to China. They've got as much oil as Saudi Arabia. So it would really be great to see a change there. Don't know what the long-term objective is, but the whole world, and certainly Secretary of State Marco Rubio, wants to see Maduro out of there.
Dr. Grant, I feel like every family in America has been impacted by drugs one way or another, whether it's through immediate family or extended. President Trump actually taking this fight to the cartels here. I don't want to understate the importance of this, and I think what this means for so many families.
Yes, we've all known these cases, whether cocaine or fentanyl in our cities, in our rural areas. He's designated 5, actually now 6 of the major cartels, and this allows us to go after what has become a national security problem. We've got to take care of the Western Hemisphere, and I'm glad he's stopping this. And don't forget, we have exquisite maritime surveillance. These are legitimate military targets.
I would just have to assume that the United States military is better than what the cartel has, right? I think that's a safe assumption here. I want to pivot, though, to Russia, Ukraine. Talk about that a little bit. The Trump administration still negotiating into the weekend in an attempt to strike that peace deal. So earlier today, we got some movement. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he announced the resignation of his chief of staff, his top negotiator, Andriy Yermak, after his home was actually raided by anti-corruption officials. Meantime, there's some pushback from the Europeans. The Telegraph reports that Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, going to make a direct offer to Vladimir Putin in Moscow next week. And the United States is poised to recognize Russia's control over Crimea and the other occupied Ukrainian territories to secure a deal to end the war. How does it end? Is that where it's going? Major land concessions for Ukraine.
Steve Witkoff has been to Moscow a lot of times this year, but I do feel like this is closer. Hey, I'd like to see every last Russian out of Ukraine, but the economic piece of this deal is a good new era for Ukraine going forward. They would get EU access, Black Sea grain shipping, electricity from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. But the whole question, is Putin going to agree to anything? He has a shattered army, 1 million casualties, but he likes this war, and that is the dilemma.
Keep an eye on it. Dr. Rebecca Grant, always good to see you.
Thank you.
Coming up, no more migrants from third world countries, right? I'm sure Democrats are going to try and fight this one. Probably get some activist judges involved somehow as well. We're going to continue talking about it coming up.
Growing up, kids face a lot of stress. Girls on the Run turns that stress into strength. Through fun activities, girls build confidence and learn life skills like managing emotions and resolving conflict. Doing this work for 2 decades has shown me that youth mental health is complex. Every girl is unique, and there isn't one simple fix. Let's come together to empower girls, support parents, and strengthen families.
You prepare for the unexpected. So do we. True Work builds workwear offering technical performance fabrics and an integrated workwear system, so you can perform at your best. True Work.
Have you compared your Medicare plan recently? With eHealth, you can compare Medicare plans side by side for free. So we invited people to give eHealth a try and discover how easy it can be to find your Medicare match.
This is pretty amazing.
I can go on a vacation with this money.
I have quite a few prescriptions.
That's why people call us. We're going to compare plans, and I'm going to try to get you as much bang for your buck as possible.
That's great.
This one here covers all your prescriptions, your doctors as well.
Oh, wonderful.
I have a hard time with this.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Based on our conversation today, I would highly recommend this plan.
You're so helpful. You don't know.
I'm excited for you, sir. Again, my name is Cham. If you have any other questions, give me a ring.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, that was super easy.
See how your Medicare plan stacks up with the big changes for 2026. Just call this number or get started at eHealth.com. Compare plans that cover your doctors, prescriptions, pharmacy, and budget. And compare plans from the nation's top insurance companies. They pay us to help you. How much do you think you'll be able to save using eHealth?
At least $300 a month.
Would you say you found your Medicare match?
Yes, I did. What Cham did, she explained to me exactly what I need to know.
Well, I have a surprise for you. Cham, come on out.
Oh my goodness.
It's a pleasure to meet you today, sir.
What does it feel like to be face to face?
You helped me out quite a bit.
Call to meet your advisor. They're paid the same no matter which Medicare Advantage plan you choose. Ask them about eHealth Live Advice or get started on your own at eHealth.com. Either way, it's always a free service. See if you could get more for less with eHealth, like these folks did.
The savings are unbelievable.
I could see the costs side by side.
eHealth is wonderful. $1,200 savings in my pocket. I was really pleasantly surprised with that.
Call 1-800-708-0234 to compare Medicare plans in your area or visit eHealth.com.
eHealth, your Medicare matchmaker.
It's the holiday season on Solitaire Grand Harvest. And now you have a chance to win a premium baking kit. Enjoy festive solitaire adventures with fun challenges. Step into Sonny's kitchen. He's already cooking up a feast and looking for a co-chef. It's like a win to me. Join the millions already enjoying exciting levels and mini games. Download Solitaire Grand Harvest for free now and get a chance to win a holiday baking kit. New winner every week.
Okay, welcome back in. President Trump vowing to permanently pause migration from third world countries. He has seen enough. I think we all have. Happened in the wake of the terrorist attack on 2 National Guard members in D.C. Our foreign affairs correspondent Alex Salvi joins us now with more.
The United States is suspending immigration from certain regions across the world and re-examining the visas of many people that are already in the country. President Trump making the announcement following the shooting of 2 National Guard members by an Afghan national who entered the United States in 2021 on a controversial resettlement program. The 29-year-old suspect entered the U.S. under the Biden administration during its chaotic and deadly withdrawal from the Taliban takeover. The Department of Homeland Security says it's immediately halting the processing of immigration requests from Afghan nationals. It's also reviewing all asylum claims processed by the Biden White House, which will be part of a larger review of U.S. vetting and security policies. President Trump did not identify which 19 countries specifically will face greater scrutiny, but he's vowing a significant response to what he's referring to an act of terrorism. Trump saying that only reverse migration can achieve his goals as he lays out the first steps in ensuring the safety of Americans.
We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
The president is also threatening to end all benefits and subsidies to non-citizens and to denaturalize migrants who pose a threat to national security, moves that Democrats will certainly try to challenge in the court system. Back to you.
Okay, Alex Salvi, appreciate that update. Joining us now, Dick Morris, advisor to President Trump, joins us now. Dick, always a pleasure to have you on here on Friday night. Let's talk about it. Halting asylum applications indefinitely from third world countries. We know the State Department, they're going to stop processing Afghan visas at consulates. What are your thoughts about this? It's pretty big news.
Well, it's huge. And I think that when Trump issued a statement on Somalia the other day, he said, this is one of the most important statements I'm going to issue. Please read every word. And he basically said that Somalia refugees have taken over the state of Minnesota, and that Governor Waltz and the Democrats have let that happen. And really the concept that refugees and immigrants are taking over sections of the country, just like they have in France, where there are no-go areas around Paris where even the police don't dare show up. I think that Trump taking action on this is very important, and I think it could even eclipse the economy as an issue in the midterm elections.
Dick, I had an uncle tell me one time that about 10 years ago, if you want to visit Europe now, you got to do it now because in a decade you won't recognize it. He knew because of all the immigration. He served us in our military. Where do you see this going if there's pushback to this, if President Trump isn't allowed to make this happen, which I'm sure the Democrats will go nuts here on Monday with some kind of plan they formulated over the weekend here? I think we're headed down a really bad path if this keeps up.
Well, politically, it's not a bad path. Politically, it's a good one, because I think that Trump is recognizing an issue that has been simmering for a while with American politics. Not just the historic issue of immigration, not just the Rio Grande border, stuff like that, or jobs, but the literal attempt by the Islamic community, in much of it, to take over parts of the United States. And Minnesota is probably the prime example.
Dick, I agree. I wasn't saying President Trump or this policy is a bad path. I was saying if the immigration continues to come into the country, I think we're headed down a terrible path here. I want to jump gears, though. President Trump, the tariffs, we know about them. Maybe eliminating income taxes, right? The U.S. collecting about $195 billion in tariff revenue in 2025 fiscal year. Also on track to collect more than $4 billion in fiscal year 2026. The president made this announcement to cut income tax completely here. Let's take a listen.
For the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it because the money we're taking in is going to be so large.
Your thoughts on that, Dick?
An amazing statement, an amazing concept. Tariffs are an issue that were never big since the 19th century. And Trump has taken it up and made it the national issue. And he's not only forcing businesses to relocate in America, but he's using it to actually change the American tax system so that we don't have the Internal Revenue Service, we have the External Revenue Service of funds that we get from around the rest of the world to what we've done for free until now, which is to open up our markets to other countries. And it's an amazing change, an amazing new volume in American history.
Yeah, I think it's a twofold win. Like you said, with the taxes, the changes in that, and bringing jobs back and companies back into the United States. And I know that is why so many people voted for the president. Dick Morris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, coming up, the world's strongest woman, jeez, oh whiz, was a hulking giant man with long hair and makeup on for a few days. That wasn't until the judges found out the man was actually a man, as if they couldn't tell. I think maybe they were just too scared to say anything. And based on those pictures, I almost don't blame them. That's next in News from the Left.
I've been taking Balance of Nature 3-4 years now.
It's fruits and vegetables in our daily diet.
And it's real. It smells like fruits and vegetables.
Balance of Nature, I trust the simplicity of what it is.
I know that you need a balance of fruits and vegetables. I mean, my grandma told me that, my mom told me that. What's there to lose in taking Balance of Nature?
Get a free Preferred Customer membership when you purchase your first set as a new Preferred Customer. Plus, get a free variety snack pack. Don't let these Black Friday savings pass you by.
Better Ice from Tommy Copper. Where you been all my life?
New from Tommy Copper, the Better Ice Cold Cap. Finally, an easy way to ice your head. Try it for headaches, migraines, stress, and hangovers. Amazingly flexible. The maximum cold you need for powerful relief. It can even help with hot flashes.
It's my go-to after a night out. My wife loves it for her migraines.
The Better Ice Cold Cap helps headaches go away. Make sure it's in your freezer when pain strikes. Go to TommyCopper.com now. Save 40% site-wide.
Harry & David is small batch, gourmet, and delicious. So, of course, they run out fast. Celebrate the joy of giving with hand-picked holiday delights from Harry & David. Iconically American, delicious traditions made to share. Order now before they're gone.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
Invest in Ukraine now. Ukraine is rebuilding, innovating, and shaping the future. Because Ukraine is the potential. Kyivstar is Ukraine's leading digital operator. Invests in Ukraine's connectivity, entertainment, ride-hailing, healthcare, and innovation. It's time to think opportunity. It's time to think Ukraine now.
My heart has experienced life-changing wins, losses, and countless miles. To keep living at my speed, I trust Cunol CoQ10. CoQ10 is the #1 cardiologist-recommended supplement for heart health. Cunol, the brand I trust.
Welcome back in. Time now for news from the left. Let's start with this. Everybody, a hulking weightlifting man named Jamie Booker, who now identifies as a woman, originally won this year's World's Strongest Woman competition down in Texas. Look at that picture. But Booker has now been stripped of the title after organizers claim Booker never told them she was born a man. Odd how no one noticed, though, right? I think it seems kind of obvious, given the fact Booker looks like a giant man who grew their hair out long and somehow some breasts. All right, organizers posting this on Instagram. It appears that an athlete who is biologically male, who now identifies as a female, competed in the women's open category. The official strongman officials were unaware of this fact ahead of the competition, and we have been urgently investigating since being informed. Adding, had we been aware or had this been declared at any point before during the competition, this athlete would not have been permitted to compete in the women's open category. Organizers of that competition reportedly found out that Booker was transgender through explicit videos from an adult entertainment website. The original female runner-up, now champion Andrea Thompson, telling the Daily Mail the very explicit content was coming from an adult entertainment website, and the explicit videos and photos of Booker put her gender into question. Shocker. Again, gotta ask, so it wasn't her appearance? Did they not have a set of eyeballs? All right. Paula Scanlan, senior fellow at the American Principles Project, joins us. Ben Weingarten, senior contributor at The Federalist as well. Good to see you both. Paula, ladies first here. We're gentlemen. And I know you were a D1 swimmer at Penn. You had to deal with the whole Leah Thomas fiasco of him coming into the locker room and beating you all by 50 lengths in the pool. Talk about when you saw this story, how you're feeling, and how nobody noticed.
Well, you know, when I saw it, I first thought of the South Park episode that maybe everyone saw, the strong woman competition. I mean, that visual, that picture that you guys just showed was exactly that episode of South Park. I mean, you really cannot make this up if you tried. I thought the situation I went through at the University of Pennsylvania was something that was unbelievable, but this one was even more so. I mean, yes, exactly. Looking at this image, I don't know how anyone saw this and thought this was okay. But again, I'm glad they're cracking down on it. This story just seems to keep getting weirder and weirder from some of the stuff you just said previously. Men shouldn't play women's sports. I think that's the end of the story here.
So, Ben, it looks fishy to me. Almost like they knew, but they were too scared because of the culture that's been created today to say anything to that person we see on the screen here. How are you reading this?
Yeah, I think that's a great read of it. And let me just say, Booker looks the way that I feel post-Thanksgiving. And you look at this, and it's so brazen and blatant and apparent. And it's almost like that's how they had to point out that, well, we found this explicit video evidence to prove it. Like, the only thing they could use to prove and substantiate what everyone knew with their eyes was the most egregious possible evidence. So it's almost like an admission of guilt, I think, to your point. I mean, this is absolutely asinine. And obviously, in other sports, not only do you have unfair competitions, whether it's in swimming or in strongman competition, but you literally have safety issues, obviously, depending upon the sport that you're talking about. It's absolutely egregious. Radical gender ideology is an assault on science. It's an assault on competition. It's not about merit. It's basically legalized cheating, and it should not exist in this country.
Yeah, 100%. I don't even know how that person could feel like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go compete against all these women internally. They're screwed up in the head. Paula, I think in a lot of these cases, people are scared to speak up. Again, I know you had to deal with the fiasco at University of Pennsylvania.
You know, I think a lot of people are afraid, but I mean, the bottom line is the majority of Americans agree with us. This is not even a Republican versus Democrat issue. We have 67% of Democrats that say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. And so people who are staying silent, you're really just allowing the really, really loud minority of this country to take a hold of everything. And that's how we get into these situations. So to all the women who competed in that competition, they absolutely should speak up.
Yeah, you should. Shouldn't be scared to do that. Ben, I want to switch gears, talk about Kamala Harris. So we had that moment last year when she was campaigning in Georgia. She was trying her best to relate to black voters by telling a story about her unnamed friend allegedly had her cooking collard greens in a bathtub. Okay, let's bring it up.
First I chop up the bacon and get all that fat going. Then I put garlic, some chili peppers. And then I cheat and do a little Tabasco. So that's how I do my greens. I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
The media team made sure to let everybody know that she was talking about that. And now she's at it again, preparing collard greens with her family for Thanksgiving. Ben, why does she keep making videos of doing this here? What's your suspicion?
Man, well, first, I guess she's running. That's the first thing. And it's going to end just as poorly, probably, as the last time, if not a lot more poorly in their primary. But the pandering, it's so cringeworthy. I mean, everything about Kamala is cringeworthy as a politician. But this almost rivals Hillary Clinton. When those Hillary Clinton clips where you see her and she changes her accent depending upon who the audience is about 5 different times during her career. It's the same thing here. It's faux authenticity, and voters see, of course, right through it. They want genuine people. Regardless of where they are ideologically, you have to be genuine in this day and age to be competitive in the political sphere, and that's why she had to be elevated to a position versus effectively a comatose non-candidate. That was the only way she could be put in that spot. So I think it's cringeworthy, it's pandering, everyone sees right through it. And I think it's the death knell of her career, her inauthenticity.
Yeah, I think you're right. DEI vice president. I'll say it because that's what it was. Paula, Ben, gotta leave it there. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Gonna take a quick break. Come right back. Final thoughts.
You know Rob Finnerty. He's smart, bold, and stands strong for your values. Rob is fighting for you. Watch Finnerty weeknights only on Newsmax.
Doctor's Preferred Liver Defense is doctor developed to support your natural detox function with clinically validated, triple tested key ingredients to energize and renew your liver. Find Liver Defense in the supplement aisle at Walmart. Doctor's Preferred. Better science, better results.
You're careful about what you bring home when shopping, especially when it comes to feeding your family. Shouldn't your investments work the same way? At Timothy Plan, we offer a wide selection of mutual funds and ETFs that can help you allocate assets without compromising your values. From technology to healthcare, energy to real estate, our funds are not only diverse but uncompromising to your values. Timothy Plan funds are filtered to avoid companies involved in abortion, pornography, human trafficking, and other harmful agendas. What you invest in should reflect what you stand for. Are your investments bearing good fruit? What's in your portfolio? Contact your financial advisor today to find out, or contact Timothy Plan directly at 1-800-TIM-PLAN to discover more. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hurry in for huge savings going on now at Motorhome Specialist. Now with 2 locations. Shop and save on over 1,000 motorhomes, starting at $69,995. Only at Motorhome Specialist, the #1 motorhome dealer in the world.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
The Black Friday sale is on with the lowest price of the year. Order online in minutes, and your kit that treats common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Don't miss Black Friday savings. Visit urgentcarekit.com/Black Friday. That's urgentcarekit.com/Black Friday.
AI can turn your lights on.
Lights on.
And drive your car. And even write your kid's essay. But AI ain't gonna fix your broken water line or pay for the big repair bill. Having a plan from HomeServe offers real solutions. And when a covered system breaks, we'll send a qualified contractor and pay for the repair. There's nothing artificial about the peace of mind you get with a plan from HomeServe. Getting one is quite intelligent.
Plans from HomeServe start at just $4.99 a month.
Call 1-844-752-2141 or visit homeserve.com.
Under President Trump's strong leadership, we're winning. Now President Trump has once again delivered for American consumers. By working alongside great American-built companies like Pfizer, President Trump has negotiated America First prices that put us first, dramatically reducing prescription drug costs, helping over 100 million Americans, and forcing Europe to pay their fair share. Find your medication for the lowest price. Visit TrumpRx.gov. And America First win on prescription prices.
Okay, finally tonight, I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. It's been an honor to host this week while Rob was taking some much-earned time off. Thanks for letting us be a part of your holiday week, your Thanksgiving. It's always a pleasure. Make sure to catch me on my show, American Agenda, 2 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, with my co-host, Katrina Zish, right here on Newsmax. Hope you have a great weekend. See you next time. Finnerty's next.